Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Hey, that's not Erica.
Nope.
What? What? That was one of her lines, though. What's up with that? So, hi, gang. How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. No, wait, I can't see you all. I can't talk to y'all. It's just the way I talk right now. So, without Erica here to rein me in, what are we gonna do?
It's
Uh,
gonna be chaos.
no, but thanks for coming on, Carrie. Oh my gosh, it's like I don't know where you are. Oh wait, you're in the other room. So.
Well, today's guest is my fault, and I take all the responsibility.
Okay, well, there we go. We have an amazing guest today. We're not going to keep him back too long because this is awesome. We're big fans, and this is a guy who's been around for a while in one field, but is now shifting into our field a little bit. He's dipping his toes into the preternatural world. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Bob Bledsoe. So, Bob, how are you?
Hey, Mark and Carrie. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. And now you are well, introduce yourself to our travelers at home. So,
Sure. I'm Bob Bledsoe, and I'm a stand-up comic, actor, and I have a YouTube channel. I also raise and breed pythons. I have a YouTube channel called Green Room Pythons, and I teach people about snakes. And I go around the world and find them in the wild, and I talk about them in my house and such like that. It's super fun. And I now have a new podcast called Aliens Are Behind Everything and Other Probably True Nonsense that just launched 2 weeks ago as of this recording. So
yeah. And we watch we listened to the first couple of all listened to all the episodes. It was really fun show, and I love that you're dipping your toe into this and you're really digging in, which is nice to see because so many folks do this and they just are what we call Wikipedia people. They're just reading the Wikipedia and they're not like looking at different angles of it, different ways to do it. So,
yeah,
yeah.
there's so much research to be done on all these stories. And I always feel like I don't have enough time to really dig in like I want to, but I still feel like I'm getting in there and getting the story that I want to tell, you know.
Yeah, you've had some interesting takes on the subjects you have covered. I was like, "Oh, yeah, he got it." I was
Thanks.
very
Thanks.
very very happy to hear that. I'm like, so many people, "Oh, this story," and I'm like, "Really? You're quoting the same freaking article." But anyway,
Not
let's
him,
let's
because I
talk
remember
about.
we watched the haunted house episode, and he was like, "Oh, he's gonna do that house," and you did a different one. So,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
yeah. Because there's did you think I was gonna do the infield?
Yes, I was
Yeah.
100%. I was convinced
Yeah,
you were doing infield,
yeah.
so
I'll probably cover infield, in the future, but, yeah, we did the South Shields haunting. We're on episode 5 came out this morning, just a few hours ago,
ooh,
nice.
because I launched with the first 3 episodes,
You got to,
and
yeah.
smart.
then that's why we're 2 weeks in with 5 episodes. But,
Yep.
hopefully now people can just listen to one and roll to the next if they like it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but we binged it, so it was a lot of fun. No,
Cool.
infield, I've got a little personal thing with infield. Infield's what kinda started this whole weirdness for me was, as I was a kid, I'd seen some weird things, and I was just curious about things, and, I got really roped into Hans Holzer's writings about the infield poltergeist. So I wrote him a letter when I was, like, 9
Wow.
and wrote back. And he was like, "Well, I don't really know much about it. There's this old couple in Connecticut that know a lot about it. Here's their address." So I wrote them, and it was the Warrens. And then they invited me over to their house, and I went to their house. My dad dropped me off in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut, from what
Wow.
we drove over there, and left me with this old couple for a few hours.
And
That's
so you
fine.
sat with the Warrens and chatted with them.
Yeah, I chatted with Lorraine a lot, but, Ed was on the phone, so I only said hi to him.
You
But,
were how old at
Lorraine.
the time?
Hmm?
You were how old?
Around 9 or 10 had to be.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
and
my
then,
gosh. That's
yeah, and
amazing.
then they yeah, and then she took me into the room with all the stuff, which does not look at all like it did, does now, where they, had filled it. It still had a lot of stuff, and I wanted to see the music box, the big thing from the infield poltergeist. And, Annabelle was there, but I didn't know who the heck she was. I didn't care about the stupid doll. I just wanted
Yeah.
to see, music box, and she showed it to me, told me about the case, and then made me cookies, and I went home. So I didn't think anything of it till
Wow.
many, many years later.
And
It's like,
they're not still alive, right?
no, no, they
Y
passed away.
Well,
Lorraine was just a few years ago, so right
oh,
after
okay.
the first movie. So,
So, here's my big question then. As an adult now,
mm,
what do you think of the Warrens and their
uh,
research?
Oh, that's
yeah,
a
yeah, no,
wonderful.
it's questionable. I mean, I do think Lorraine was legitimately seeing things and hearing things. I do believe she had some sort of connection to beyond. Like I said, I didn't really talk to Ed much, but the more I've read and the more I've talked to people who did talk to Ed, I realized he was the showman. He was the one trying to make the cases and grow it and stuff. And I think
Right.
Lorraine was just kind of along for the ride at that point. She was, oh, he's the husband. I got to do what he says. So,
Interesting. Well, that's fascinating that you got to sit down with him.
yeah, that's my little tie to infield. So as whenever anybody does something with infield, I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And they gave me Maurice's, letter, address in England, and I never got a reply from him, but
Huh.
still, uh,
Well, that's cool. That's cool that you got
yeah.
to talk
Alright,
with him.
sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent too
No, that's
much,
all right.
but
That's fascinating. That's really
yeah,
interesting.
I just had to mention that we did that. So, alright, now let's get back to you. My goodness, you're here for us. So, so, Bob, let's talk about, your Python stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. So,
Yeah, so I've got this channel that I started. When COVID hit, before COVID hit, I was just a touring comedian, and I occasionally get a guest star role on a TV show or something. But generally, my day job was I was touring mainly festivals, Renaissance festivals. I had a show that I wrote specifically for those festivals, and I was touring those. And when COVID hit, all my gigs canceled. So all of a sudden I'm grounded. And, I thought, well, now's the time to start a YouTube channel. I've always wanted to. I mean, I had started YouTube channels, but I just didn't follow through with them. And you have to be consistent. And I thought, well, now's the time to do it. I'm home. I've got the time. Also, I've got a couple of these ball pythons, and I've wanted to start breeding them and go through that process because I hadn't done that before. And I thought, well, why don't I just, I know quite a bit about reptiles, and if I make a channel about these snakes, I think I have a unique voice where I can have a unique perspective and can give some good information on these animals. So I started right kind of at the beginning of COVID, I guess, uh, December 5 years ago, December of
mm,
2020, and
yeah,
the channel did well. People responded to it. I give I think good information, and I make it funny and as much as I can. I'm talking about a serious subject that I'm actually very passionate about. So there have been some episodes where I watch them back and I go, God, I didn't put anything funny in there. There wasn't anything, because I'm just trying to give information. But I try to do what I can to make it an entertaining uh, channel. And since then, I've gotten a bunch of other species. I have mostly pythons, but I've got a bunch of different species of python, and I have one boa and a couple of house snakes, and I just have a house full of snakes.
Honestly, I really respect your channel. You do good information in a nice casual way. I know you're a little newer to the scene than some people, but I definitely recommend your channel over a lot of others now.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I
I
appreciate
also
that.
very
respect, you're doing stuff with Lori with behavior education. I really like the whole choice-based things and training and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I really dug into the behavior. That's how I've always been with animals since I've
Mhm.
I've kept reptiles since I was a little kid, and it's always the behavior. And so the fact that we can train a snake is incredible because it used to, we used to think that they just didn't have any thought in their brain at all. They only ran on instinct. And the fact that I can quickly target train a snake, it doesn't take many sessions. All of a sudden, they recognize that target. They know that if they follow it and touch it with their nose, they'll get some food. Uh, that's pretty cool, you know?
yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's,
and just working with their different personalities, every snake has a different personality within, different species have different things that they do, but then within the same species, every individual has a different personality, and it's fascinating. I love it.
any further snake questions, Gary?
I wasn't well prepared for this. I didn't wanna tangent too much on snakes because I know we're here for the paranormal, but
Carrie, tell me what you have, because I see
I
some
have
cages behind you.
oh, yes. I have, 2 ball pythons, a children's python, which I might nerd out with you about children's pythons after the show or something.
Nice.
And we have, Claudius the Savannah monitor, and I do have an assortment of spiders. I think you have a jumping spider, don't you?
I do have a jumping spider, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Gary raises jumping spiders quite a bit, so it started as, a couple people loaned her some, and then the collection
Well,
had.
I did the
Yeah.
classic. I got a spider from a show. They said it was adult male. It was an adult female who was gravid and not captive bred, so I learned
oh
how
my
to raise
gosh.
spiders. Like, that's how everyone got into jumping spiders, I think.
Yeah, yeah. They're real cool, but that's the thing, if they're a wild caught female, they say that, like 90% it's gonna be gravid. You're gonna get hundreds of
You're
spiders.
gonna have babies, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not the worst thing ever.
yeah.
yeah.
I've really enjoyed raising them, and I learned a lot.
Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah, they're fun. I have a little jumping spider named Carol, and, you know, not much to them. They're super easy. They're the easiest, like, that should be a kid's first animal, first pet
Always.
is like a jumping spider.
And they're a
Uh,
lot more handleable than tarantulas. They don't live as long, but yeah, they're
I
pretty
well, and that's the other reason why it's a good one for a kid. They live a couple years. That's, maybe a year if it's a male, right? But, yeah, a tarantula, if you try to handle a tarantula and drop it, they're very fragile. So, jumping spiders are a little better. But your children's python, that's a cool snake.
You
So
have,
for those who don't know,
chimpanzees, right?
children's
Yeah,
pythons are named children's pythons because their main prey in the wild is children, which is, uh, surprising for a lot of people.
totally true
Um,
fact. Yeah.
no, they're a very tiny python, and, they're named after the, man who discovered them. His last name was Children, which is weird. I don't know. Very strange last name,
Yeah,
but, yeah, they're cool little snakes.
yeah, she loves that one. That's, Tulsa Doom is
Yes.
that one. So, we named him after the old Conan villain. So,
Nice. I love it. I love it.
um, yeah, no, so you have some pythons. What is your favorite species to just deal with in general for python?
For me, and everybody's different in what they want in a snake, but for me, I have these, super dwarf reticulated pythons, which I like a lot. Reticulated pythons are the second largest snake in the world, and, and the longest snake in the world. They get massive and they're unreasonable to keep, but the dwarf versions are much smaller. So, they're still, pretty sizable. Mine are almost 5 years old, and they're, over 6 feet long. So, which is very small for reticulated python. At least they're not 15 feet long and 300 pounds. Um, but they're super smart, really smart, and interactive. So if I have them out roaming around in the room, they'll come up and check on me occasionally, and just try to figure out what I'm doing. Whereas there's other species that would never do that. If I have them, out in the room, they'll just do their own thing. But the retics are really, interactive, and so I like that. And then I have a new, scrub python, or amethystine python, which is their actual name, that I've had them for about, I don't know, it's been a number of months now, and really liking that species. They seem to be just about as smart and interactive. He's small though, so he doesn't free roam yet. I don't let him out because he's too small.
Alright.
I mean, I do let him out, but I have to watch him. I can't just
Yeah,
open the door and walk away. You know.
yeah, Gary's got little, playpens for him that she brings out when they
Yeah, I
need
got
to
those
just.
mesh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Now
cute.
you've done some world traveling for this.
Yeah,
What
yeah, mainly to South America and Central America. I've been to the Amazon jungle a couple times, and
mm,
found emerald tree boas in the wild and anacondas in the wild, and such like that. We relocated some emerald tree boas that were in a in an area where they were uh, exposed to hunters, basically. So we
Yeah.
just move them deeper into the jungle where the hunters and trappers don't go. Uh, and they're they're really fun to any kind of snake is fun to work with in the wild because a snake in the wild, as you guys may know, but some of your listeners may not. The cool thing about finding a snake in the wild is generally when you pick them up, they're fine. They don't immediately turn around and bite. Some will, so you gotta be
Mhm.
ready for it. But if you went to try to pick a squirrel up in the wild, like a wild squirrel, a wild any animal, you are gonna get absolutely tore up, right?
Yep,
And,
yep.
snakes just don't really do that. They just kinda most of the time now, I also know how to pick up a snake respectfully, so it doesn't feel like I'm a predator, you know? Snakes
Yeah.
only turn around and bite you because they think that it's a predator picking them up, so if I went to grab the back of its head really hard or something like that, that's a predator move. But if I just pick it up from the underside, usually it depends on the type of snake and what as far as what their behavior is going to be. But generally, they relax and they're just fine. They'll hang
Well,
out and crawl around you, and you know.
Yeah,
that's why you
So
hang out with people who know stuff.
what's
yeah,
up?
That's why you hang out with people who know stuff.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
well, go
it's
ahead.
it's good to go when I go herping, which is, for those who don't know, that's going out finding it's like birding, but you're finding reptiles in the wild. When I go herping in different areas, I always wanna go with a local who knows the different species because I learn a little
Mhm.
bit about their behavior before we interact with them and, you know, uh
Yeah, that's us whenever we recommend if anybody wants to go Bigfoot hunting, ghost hunting, whatever, if you're just doing an eerie travel to a spooky location, get a local. Don't
Mhm.
just go with, whatever you read on a magazine or a website. No, get a local to take you, a guide who will help you and keep you from walking into private property and getting shot or,
Yes,
anything stupid like that. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, no, Carrie, speaking of being with somebody, we were staying at a place where we were researching our current book, and we stayed at a place, and immediately we had set up, we were unpacking, and then this black snake, big black snake came out from under the stove, and Carrie's like, "Oh, I got this," and she immediately goes to her purse, pulls out her big snake hook, the collapsible snake hook, and pulls it out, and I'm just like, "Man, who else would have that?"
Yeah, it's great. It's always good to have a snake hook, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, that's fantastic. By the way, let's not forget, I did just, get back from Area 51 the other day.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
Speaking of
saw
taking
you were
trips.
herping there, right?
Yeah, well, I herped for 20 minutes. There should
Yeah, it's
have
a
been
little hot.
out that day, but there
Yeah,
wasn't. It was definitely warm enough. This is, we're still in the winter months, and,
yeah,
the snakes are all hunkered down, but, like, I got out there to the black mailbox, and I was like, "Man, it's warm today." So
yeah,
I went looking around for any snakes that
yeah.
were out to try to get a little bit of sun.
Yeah, Black Mailbox is crazy. It's a crazy place. I guess they replaced it a few years ago, but it's already got a million stickers on it again.
Well, I think they probably replace it on a regular basis because this
Yeah,
version of the black mailbox, they had replaced it with white, like it was white for a
yeah,
while,
yeah.
and now it's back to black, but it's clearly not a mailbox. It's a
No,
plastic box that opens like a mailbox, but it's not a mailbox that you would see anywhere else, and it's reinforced on the pull with duct tape. So I think it got wobbly and somebody probably noticed that, pulled up to him and was like, "This thing's about to fall off. I've got some duct tape." So they've strapped duct tape on.
yeah,
But
the
yeah,
handyman secret weapon. Yep.
yeah, yeah. But I tell you what's weird is Rachel, Nevada. That's a strange
Oh,
place. We can talk
we
about it now. I can tell you the stories
yeah,
now, or we
yeah,
can
let's go for it.
like
We love when a town embraces their weird.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a great town in Florida, that's got Spook Hill next to it, so they've embraced it. Their elementary school is now Spook Hill Elementary, and they've got Casper the Friendly Ghost as their mascot. I mean,
I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
towns like that. So Rachel, oh my gosh, I haven't been since, like, '97, and they were just starting to realize, "Hey, people are coming here," and, I think they had just changed it to Little Alien.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but now I know that's like the only draw in town, but, I heard
Yeah,
there's
well,
more.
and when you say the only draw in town, we need to put
Yeah.
quotes up for the word
No,
town
yeah, they're not a
because
town, yeah.
I had heard that Rachel, Nevada was a small town of 200 people. It's a
Mm,
small town of 36 people, as it
yeah,
turns out. There when we got close enough to see the whole town, I went, "Oh, this is 200 people if 10 people live in each house."
yeah,
Like that, then it's because it really is a few houses, like a few mobile homes and houses, stick-built houses, and the Little Alien, which is the only restaurant, the only bar, and the only hotel, which I also say in quotes because the hotel means that you stay in a trailer.
yeah.
You rent a trailer, and there's no TV service to Rachel, Nevada. That's how deep in the sticks you are, and or in the sand, I guess, in that case. And so there is a TV in every room and a VCR in every room. So
Yep.
when you go into the restaurant bar, there's there are the bathroom doors for men and women's bathroom, and then there's a door in between those two that says evidence room. And if you go in the evidence room, that's where all the VHS tapes are that you can just grab and take back to your room if you want to turn the TV on, which is amazing. But so when we pulled up there, I mean, here's the thing. If you live in a town of 36 people that's so remote that it's like an hour away to anything else, right?
Mm,
You're going to be a little different. That
yeah.
like if you
Yeah.
choose to move there, you're going to be a little bit different, right? So everybody's a little bit different. It's like stepping back into like the 1980s. It's very 1980s, but a different time portal, like a different uh portal to the 80s. Like it's 80s, but a little bit weird. So we roll up and park in front of this the Little Alien, and there's a guy sitting on the ground with his dog. And the dog has a vest on with a bunch of patches, and he's got like a camouflage jacket on. He's in his 60s, probably in his 60s. He looks in his 70s, but he's probably in his 60s. And he has the best mullet you've ever seen. It's dyed blonde, it's full on spiked on top, long in the back mullet, like the craziest mullet. He looks like a homeless veteran. Like if I saw this guy where I live in Burbank, California, I would go, "Oh, this is a homeless veteran. I should give him some money," right? And he said hello. He was very nice, and we said hi to him and walked in about as quickly as you do when you meet someone like because you just don't know what you know you don't think about it much, but
No.
you usually don't stay and talk to those people. Unfortunately, we probably should, but we don't.
Yeah, no, that's
You know
what we do. Those are the people we go up to and go, "Hey, what can you tell us about the ghost stories and stuff around here?"
Oh,
And
yeah, for
everybody's
sure.
got a ghost story.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, here's the funny thing. The next morning, that guy was Michael. The next morning, Michael was cleaned up wearing an alien shirt, and he was our waiter for breakfast. He just works there and totally
Yeah,
normal guy. The only thing
yeah.
abnormal looking about him at that point was this insane mullet that he has.
Well, mm,
Uh, but totally cleaned up. And then the dog would like come in and out at any time somebody opened the door. The dog would
yep.
be in and out, in and out. But
Oh,
they're all delightful people, but it's just a little bit weird. Oh, here's the other thing. So that night we set up cameras to try to get some stuff in the sky. And we did that until got out there early, and at about 9:30 we were like, okay, this is enough. We're gonna go back and get a drink. So we go back to the bar and I order some whiskey, and there's a couple locals sitting next to me at the bar. There's a guy to my left and then a woman to his left. And they're chatting about what they did for Valentine's Day. And
oh,
well, I'm starting to see good Kyle. And so we went out and he's like, "You're starting to see good Kyle." He goes, I don't know about good Kyle. He goes, "Hey, Tom." Tom's the guy behind the bar. He goes, "Hey, Tom, what do you think of good Kyle?" And I go, "Wait a second, you guys. Are you saying that this man's name is Good Kyle?" And Tom goes, "Oh yeah, we have a good Kyle and a bad Kyle here."
I said there gotta be a bad Kyle somewhere.
And I go, "Bad Kyle must be real bad if we're trying to determine whether good Kyle is in fact a good guy." It was
That's
great. It
that's the
was
stuff you live for in these towns, man. That's we always go to the local diner, local dive if you can, and that's where you get the best stories. You also get some of the best food you've ever had at
Sure.
some of these
Yeah.
places. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's a top tip for travelers. Go wait, don't be afraid of the locals. Ask.
Yeah.
It's not everything is American Werewolf in London where you get kicked out onto the moors at night. You will get some good stories usually, as long as you're nice.
Right.
Be respectful. Be nice.
Be nice, be respectful. Don't go into these places cameras ablazing,
No,
you know?
no. Always
Uh,
ask. Yeah, if you're gonna put somebody on camera, hey, is it okay? Because that's just politeness, but also you can get in trouble for that if you don't.
yeah, yeah, it's well, and this place I had seen on their website that they don't want people filming in there
No.
unless they get, permission. So
Yeah.
I didn't even ask. I didn't tell them that I was there shooting anything from didn't mention my podcast, just
Yeah.
wanted to sit and chat with these folks, you know?
Well, I'm sure they get visitors constantly.
Definitely.
Point Pleasant. It took Point Pleasant decades for them to realize, hey, people are coming constantly to look for Mothman. Let's put up a statue. And then that was only in 2001. And now
Yeah,
look at it. Their whole town has embraced it, and that's their commerce. They, for better or worse, a lot of them still aren't happy about that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, and Rachel became big. We just watched the documentary on that. They did the whole thing about the let's raid Area 51 and
yeah.
the debacle behind that. But the little alien girl got some money out of that. So good for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They apparently they had done like a music festival right around that time,
Yeah.
and there were promoters from Vegas that ended up taking all the money. So that's
Yeah.
they're
And they
battling.
moved it to Vegas instead of Rachel, where they spent all this money and infrastructure to try to make it
Yeah,
happen. And
yeah.
yeah. Mm.
I tell you what though, that we went to I went to the front gate and the back gate of Area 51. I mean, there's probably more gates than that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
But those
going
are
the
the
front
ones
to the
you can
back.
get to.
So, and at the back gate, there's a sign before you get to the gate, and I didn't want to even cross this sign,
Yeah.
but it says warning, and it gives you the list of all the things that'll happen to you if you trespass. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't anymore say lethal force, which I think it
No,
used
that's
to.
the one they took off. Yeah. But
Yeah, but my guess is that that sign was put in during the raid Area 51
I'm
thing.
sure I'm sure they updated everything then because, they knew it was coming.
Yeah,
And, I love that they had, like 20 guys on duty, and they were like, I think we had more people on duty than actually showed up.
yeah, because who's going to show up? Like I can understand people being behind it and be like, yeah, let's see what happens, and then just watching from a distance what
Yeah.
online what
I'll
happens.
I'll be over here.
Yeah. Yeah, but who's actually gonna risk it to
Yeah.
like, there's no
But
reason to.
yeah, yeah. No, no, clap those alien cheeks. That was the big thing I remember from the time. So, all right, well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about you're already doing this. You're already going out to Area 51. That's boots on the ground, man. You're doing it. So, we'll
Yeah.
talk more after this break.
Destiny Beard, the lyrical soprano who will haunt your dreams. With her alluring melodies and intricate harmonies, this dark siren of wistful song shall capture your soul and lead you into the night. Check out Destiny's new single, The Haunting Is Over, with international musicians Sam Haines and Gary Bennett, as well as her other musical works at destinybeard.com.
We are back. Oh my gosh, did you miss us? So
I did. I
that
missed
was
you guys during that break, I really did.
it was rough, man. It's hard going. I'm glad we've reconnected and
Yeah.
we've got this, so let's talk about why suddenly the need for the new podcast, and my gosh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I do this thing where, when I'm supposed to be working on Green Room Python's videos, I will go down rabbit holes. I usually have a podcast or a YouTube channel on, like, I'll put the WAV files on and just listen to that in the background. Also, when I'm traveling, when I'm driving, either traveling for the channel or going to a festival to perform, uh, I'll have that stuff on. And a lot of times when I'm supposed to be working on Green Room Python's videos, I'll start going down rabbit holes. And I always stop myself and go, what am I doing? I can't research this ghost thing. What, like, there's no, I've got my livelihood is making videos for my channel. I got to do that. So what I realized is that if I had another channel, and I did want to start. So last month, or a couple months ago, Green Room Pythons hit 100,000 subscribers. And one of the things that I wanted to do for myself when that happened was start another channel. And it's important to me that the stuff that I do on whatever channel is something that I'm passionate about, right? And so this is one thing that I'm passionate about in that I really enjoy these stories, but it also gives me the excuse to actually research this stuff and look into it because now I'm spending time on something where I have an actual podcast to talk about it, you know. Uh so it's just super fun for me. And I also thought that you know there are so many podcasts and you know paranormal stuff, Bigfoot stuff, alien stuff. Um it's for me it's important to try to figure out what am I bringing to the table that's different than anybody else. And um you know I bring comedy to the table, and there are a lot of comedic podcasts too, but you know it's a different voice, and I have a different way of telling the story, I think. So I've you know I thought I can bring something different enough. I think it can be entertaining. Let me do some work on this and see how it goes. And so far, I've gotten good response. But I will say this: that when I spent, first of all, I spent a lot of money on new equipment, which I probably didn't need to, but I did. I got all kinds of mixing boards and new cameras and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um, because it's an audio podcast, but I have a video version on YouTube also. Uh, and so I spent a lot of money and a ton of time, months working on this, figuring this out. What you know, and so I've got a lot invested in it, and so getting the audience reaction is important. Like, am
yeah.
I doing this right? Is this, and what I've realized is that most of the people that saw the first few episodes were already fans from Green Room Pythons,
Right.
and I'm like, that's great. I'm glad that they're enjoying it, but they're going to be a lot nicer than somebody who doesn't know me from Adam, that's never seen me before and just comes across on YouTube. So I
Mm.
have gotten some response from people that I've been able to figure out, okay, this person doesn't know Green Room Pythons. They don't know who I am. They've probably never seen me on TV. Um, and I'm getting a decent response from those people too, which makes
Yeah.
me really happy because those are the ones that really count, you know.
Uh, to be fair, we've been doing this a long time now, and Carrie and I and Erica too. We've noticed that the paranormal community, everybody says, "Oh, paranormal drama, paranormal drama." That's amongst the creators. The people who are enjoying the content, they enjoy the content. They're just happy to have it. They are so
Yeah.
happy to have a place where they can go and not get ridiculed and not
Yeah.
get made fun of and not they've got their stories that, you know, they're and some people 100%, you know, we've joke about it because it is the Bigfoot people used to never talk to the ghost people, and the ghost people
Mm.
wouldn't talk to the UFO people. And
That's
then the
it.
UFO people wouldn't talk to anybody because they were terrified of things. And now, over the last couple decades, thanks to the TV shows, but remember the TV shows are TV shows, they're not
Yeah.
reality.
Right.
But that thanks to that, it has opened it up. That's why there's a million podcasts now and YouTube channels on it. But it has allowed the conversations to come forward. A lot more people who never told their story to anybody are willing to tell their story now because they're not gonna get made fun of. They're not gonna do that. It's really
Right.
helping with the UFO community now that Congress is talking about it and other people are talking about it. I mean, when I grew up in the '70s, nobody would have ever thought this would be real again. They'd already shut down Project Blue Book and all
Yeah.
that. Oh, here we are talking about it and making classified releases and stuff. We'll see. We'll see if that goes anywhere, but that's where we're
Right.
at.
Yeah. If there actually is, I'm actually right now looking into the stuff that's already been released. Like I'm looking back several years at stuff that CIA has released, and there's a lot of stuff in there. But let me ask you a question from something you said a little bit ago. Were you saying that there is drama between the creators in the community, paranormal community? That it's
Yeah,
funny. I don't know that because I'm new to it. You know,
yeah,
so
no,
I don't.
you haven't experienced it's just it's the people who are, upset that, like, the TV show people get all the credit, and the guys who are boots on the ground and doing all the work and all that,
Yeah.
they get mad because, they're not invited on the TV shows. They're not invited
Right.
on the and, when they're at the conventions, they're not allowed to speak. You might get lucky and get on the local round table, but you're not gonna be one
Yeah.
of the headline speakers and stuff. And I feel that. I've done a couple Travel Channel documentaries, and they've got a couple guys who I know have never even been to Key West are the big headliners of it.
Right.
I'm like, "Wait a minute, I was there. I was the one hanging out with Robert the Doll. Come on," and it's like, "Wait a minute," and so I feel that, I understand that, but it's like, but they're still their names. They got people to watch the show. I got my little
That's the
part in it.
key. I
Yeah,
I
that's
worked as a reality show producer for a time, and so I understand the mentality of why they cast who they cast, and,
yeah,
but I also understand people n not feeling good about it, you know?
yeah. Yeah, because 'cause
Um,
they've got their local channel that only does, like, 100 followers, and they feel bad because they've got better content than some of these others. It's like, they're professionals, they've been doing it a lot longer, you'll get there, just keep putting the content out,
so
and
this
that's,
is so you're talking about drama of, like, the internet people being upset and jealous that they don't have a TV show. It's not
exactly.
drama amongst the internet people.
There's some, but it's not as much. It's just, some people are
Okay.
button heads again because, "Oh, we have this take on it," and then they have this take on it,
Sure, yeah.
and
Yeah, because there's so much. I had someone in my comments, I did an episode on the Yucca Man, which is
yeah.
basically Bigfoot, right? And I made a joke. I made a joke about them not probably, they smell pretty bad because, they probably don't get many showers, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Just a silly little thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Somebody gave me paragraphs of how I should do my research on the Yeti because that's a defense mechanism. They actually smell very nice. They smell sweet, and that smell is a defense mechanism. Gave me this whole thing, and
Yeah.
I had to explain that there's a lot of different information out there. And so, first of all, this is a comedy podcast, so you got to, there's going to be
You're not authoritarian. Yes.
there's going to be some jokes, and I am not an authority on any of this stuff. But I'm also not making fun of it. I'm not trying to make fun of it, but we're going to have we're going to have some fun. And what she wrote paragraphs on was on a very small joke. Clearly, I was saying
Yeah,
this to make this little joke, and it was just a throwaway line anyway. But
yeah.
she was very upset that I didn't do my research to find out that this is a defense mechanism, the smell, and they actually smell very nice and whatever. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, no,
um,
like, you'll get the ones that talk to the Bigfoot, and they will explain to you a lot of this
oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So there's all
There's a
kinds of
lot of
different information
levels,
on
yeah.
what's that, Carrie?
Oh, there's a lot of levels of Bigfoot just between people who think it is an animal that we just haven't captured yet versus it has a metaphysical aspect. There's some people
Right.
who, like, mind speak with it. There's just the whole gambit.
There's so much different information on in any of
Yeah,
these, any episode that I do, there's going to be a ton of different. So I've got to take the information that first of all, I only want to do episodes on stuff that I think could possibly be a real thing. And then I've got to decide what information do I want to even talk about, you know,
mhm.
based on everything that's out there. So I started to do a little bit of research on the crystal skulls because I thought, oh, that might be
Oh, yeah.
interesting to do. And then I realized right away that it's pretty much totally debunked.
Yeah,
Like
everything, everything. That's why we haven't done one
there's
on it.
not even a way, you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
that-
you'll get people going, "Hey, why don't you talk about this?" I'm like, "'Cause it never happened. It's not real." But that's
yeah,
you save those for your April Fool's episodes.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. That's what
So
we do.
and really, I don't want to. It doesn't really matter if I actually believe in the thing or not. Like I don't need to be a total believer in it. I just need there to be maybe it's a possibility. So I just did the chupacabra, which isn't out yet. But
Mm,
spoiler alert, I'll tell you where I'm at on this. I was going to bail on it because I thought, oh, it's debunked, and then I realized that no, actually, in Puerto Rico,
yep,
there probably was a thing.
yep,
It's
yep.
not in Texas. It's
No,
not a dog with mange.
no.
We're
The
and you
Miami
gotta
one is something else. The Miami one's something else. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah,
when you're finding your animals mutilated, it's not, you know,
yeah,
it's not
no,
whatever weird other animal you saw somewhere. It's
no.
you know,
And the problem is they get blurred together. That was one of
yeah,
the things we noted, folklore for years. It's always the story happened right here, when you realize it happened like 10 miles away and it was something completely different, but the Boy Scout camp was here, so that's why because when
Yeah.
you're telling the ghost story, you want it to be here and all that, and then, it's telephone. You're realizing you're playing a game of telephone,
Right.
where, and it's just adjusting the story. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big part of this, and you realize that. It's like, the skunk ape. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's because it smells bad. That's every Bigfoot smells bad." No, skunk ape was called skunk ape because it had a white stripe on its
Oh,
back,
really?
kind
I
of like
didn't
a
know that.
silverback. Yeah, so it was like a silverback gorilla, so that's where it got the name, but everybody says, "Oh, it's because it smells."
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you
I
go
mean, I
back.
would have said that too.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
But that
everybody thinks that, but if you go back to the OGs and you start looking at those old newspaper articles, of course, a lot of it was yellow journalism and all that, but that's where it got the name, so from some early
interesting.
trappers that had
Interesting.
seen it, so, yeah,
Well, I'll say this back to what we were talking about before,
yeah,
that in the world of reptile hobby, there's a ton of infighting and drama amongst the hobbyists, but the creators, the guys with YouTube channels, we're all best friends. Like
yeah,
there's so much night, like everybody loves everybody, and it's just I mean, there are a couple that are outliers, but
yeah.
amongst the core group, we're all great friends. So uh, it was just interesting to hear that it's might be the opposite with regard
Well,
to
no, the
animals.
creators all tend to get along. We all do each other's podcasts and all that. So, and we all, again, it's that level. It's the
Yeah,
different level. And again, it's just, the problem is you go to like a Bigfoot conference, it's the same 6 speakers, every
right.
one. And it's
Yeah,
like, okay, wait a minute. They've said the same thing 100 times, and some of these people going to conferences are always complaining. It's like, wait a minute. We've
we
heard
saw
this
these guys
before.
talk already. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's
Well,
starting to open up again, but yeah, that was a big issue for a long time. It's just now starting to get better. So
yeah, I get it. I get it. I will say you guys are the first to have me on a podcast to talk about paranormal stuff. We're 2 weeks into my podcast and I'm already doing yours and I really appreciate it. That the invite was so nice.
no, no, and thank you for coming on. No, Carrie's a big fan of the Python channel. So of course she's like, "Hey, he's doing this. You should watch." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I'm like, "Oh, let's reach out. It doesn't hurt." And we think of a rising tide raises all boats. That's the thing. We've got on our podcast, we got about 50,000 weekly listeners. We have
Nice.
thank you all travelers for tuning in. We love y'all, and we get stuff from all over the world. And, in our
That's
listeners, we had
fantastic.
one from Thailand last month. That was amazing.
Wow.
I'm like, "Thank you guys for listening." I don't know why, but you're here. And
That's
so
really cool.
we're like, "Hey, let's help out the new show," but we love his stuff. So, and we didn't even start YouTube till recent.
Yeah, I was
And,
gonna ask that. Are you you're putting videos on YouTube occasionally?
occasionally, we've been doing the podcast goes automatically to YouTube, and that's all we've done. But I've been doing daily little history folklore drops recently, and that's going to expand into. We're doing more travels again. I'm an epileptic, so I can't go on the road as much as I like to, and go to these places as easy as we used to.
I
So
see.
we'll probably be putting a lot of retro stuff on that we did years ago. But
Yeah.
we've got some new stuff that's coming. We do still do signings and events and we went on the road trip for the new book and we hit all West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and got into little hollers and talked to Meemaws and Peepaws and got some really good stories for this one.
Oh, fun.
Um,
Fun.
yeah, that's the best part is
Yeah,
getting
that's
the
what's on our
stories and stuff.
page. We like to actually have been to the place. We may not have seen the thing, but we went to the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It beats the people like, "Oh, go to this haunted house. It got bulldozed in 2006. You're just reading an article from an old book." It's we wanna make sure it's worth your trip. "Oh, you can go here and you can stay the night at this place. Now it's private property and you will get shot." No, no, no. We gotta make sure, if you're gonna do the place, you gotta talk about the place. So
That's
that's
great. So is that your new book? Is like a travel guide?
Yeah, we did a Smoky Mountains book last year. We've written books for a number of years. Carrie and I did Eerie, Florida. We did a bunch in Florida because we lived in Florida. So we did Eerie, Florida, Freaky Florida, and Creepy Florida. And then
Nice.
finally they let us do Eerie, Appalachia, and our then we did Dark Side of the Smoky Mountains. That's where we live now. And then we're going back to Appalachia because it was just so much. We're doing a much deeper dive. We got a new publisher, so they let us make a bigger book. And
Cool.
so that's the next one. That'll be out this fall.
So
And
they're all
we'll
travel guides. I
yeah,
love
that's what we do is and the show is travel. We want you to
Yeah.
go to these places and experience themselves. Now, some of these places you can't go to, but we're gonna tell you some place that you might enjoy like it. So that was one of the things we thought having you on is you've done some traveling over, and as you can talk about the Amazon, how good
Yeah.
advice for visiting the Amazon. But our co-host Erica, who couldn't make it today, she had a question for you though.
Oh, let's
Very
hear it.
important question.
Yeah.
That what reptiles do you feel have been mistaken for cryptids in the past and
Oh,
might have led to some cryptid legends? Do you have any
yeah.
ideas on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, the one that comes to mind immediately is the anaconda being mistaken for Titanoboa, which Titanoboa is
Mm,
not really a cryptid; it's an extinct animal. But when we say that a lot of people believe that the giant sloth is still out there somewhere in the Amazon. A lot of people believe that the Titanoboa is out there in the Amazon. When you see an anaconda sort of lurking through the marsh, it's like you don't know where the tail is and you don't know where the head is, and you just see this big fat. They're the thickest snake in the world. You see this big fat body, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's got to be 40 feet long," and it's not. It's like
yeah.
maybe 15, a really big one. I mean, they can get a little bit longer, but yeah, and then you always, whenever you see big snake, if you're not used to, like, I'm used to seeing big snakes, so I don't think I do this. I think I probably underestimate them, but anybody that's just coming across a snake, they always overestimate the size. They go, "Oh my god, there was like a 6-foot rattlesnake," and you look at it and it's 3 feet. They've literally doubled the size in their mind. Um, so that happens with Titanoboa, I think,
Mm, okay.
anacondas and Titanoboa. Um, there was something that I was as far as travel. So I went to the Dominican Republic fairly recently, and we went and we stopped on the side of the road. I was with a biologist named Alfred. And Alfred, as it turns out, and we didn't really talk about it until after I got back, and now we talk about it online all the time. But he's into all kinds of paranormal stuff.
Mm,
So we went and saw these petroglyphs that were are on this cliff right on the side of the road, and they're amazing petroglyphs. And he said, if you walk about 2 miles into the sticks, there are other petroglyphs out there that are aliens. And
ah,
like it's clearly aliens. He goes, I've seen them at night. He goes, you can't see them during the day because if you try to get out there, authorities will come and stop you. You
yeah.
have to sneak out there at night. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So he also told me about some haunted areas and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff uh, in the Dominican Republic. So I may go back out there to find snakes again, but make it a trip where we
Yeah.
Like a dual effort.
yeah, yeah, dual effort, because there's definitely some stuff in the Dominican Republic. It's cool.
I really appreciate people who are scientists who, like, have gone through studies and know a lot about things who also are like, "There's some weird stuff out there that is not well explained." Like, I
Yeah.
feel like adds a lot of credential to that.
Well, he also sent me a video that he shot from his old apartment that he said was incredibly haunted. And he's got this video. Stuff would When he would leave the apartment, stuff would start moving. And so
Mm.
he set up his camera on the steps, and then he just goes outside to smoke a cigarette, and stuff starts happening, including there was a lock on the floor, like a padlock just sitting on the floor, and it chased the dog across the room.
Yeah.
Like, it just slides
Yeah.
across the floor, and the dog the dog jumps up and starts running. I don't know if it was really after the dog, but it scared the dog, and
Yeah, yeah, no, and this is the kind of stuff that everybody's like, "Oh, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence?" It's there, but a lot of people just it doesn't get released. It just
yeah.
gets sent and it go where's you gonna put it?
Well,
Paranormal
and
caught on
also
tape, it's
yeah. And also, I know Alfred and I trust him, and he's credible to me, but if you didn't know him, you would just go, "Oh, somebody's pulling that with a string."
yeah,
Because that someone could do that, but uh, this is someone who has, credibility with me. So when I see the
right.
video, I go, "Wow, that's crazy." You know?
Yeah, no, it's and that's just it. That's like I said, that again, that doesn't necessarily mean ghost, doesn't mean we call it preternatural. Some we don't understand. Something weird happened, doesn't make sense. It might be a science thing. We don't know.
Yeah,
Magnetism, who knows, Earth, is EMP, stuff like that. That's what we try to say, look, we just don't know. It's just
sure.
one of those
Right.
things. So, yeah, someday we might. That's what we
Yeah.
hope. But,
Right, right.
oh my gosh. So this is amazing. We've loving this so much. All right. So where can people find you? for your YouTube, obviously. But what are your channels? And let's talk about the podcast a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. So for the Python channel, that's Green Room Pythons on YouTube. Um, that's the main spot, and then the podcast is called "Aliens Are Behind Everything and Other Probably True Nonsense." It's a clunky name, but that's what we went with, and that is also on YouTube. You can see the video version on YouTube. Which I've said before is the only reason you would want to watch it on YouTube is because I have a large beard and sometimes my snacks get trapped in my beard and it takes me a while to notice. So that gives you a visual uh,
Yeah.
to, to look at. So that's on YouTube, but also all the audio podcast platforms. Um, and it occurred to me. I was talking with Dave Kaufman the other day, who is
Hey,
another
Dave.
reptile creator, and he said that I should probably put my name on my channels so that when people search Bob Bledsoe, those channels come up because right now they don't. I
Uh,
kind of purposely keep my name off, but I think for the search engine, I need to add my name to it. So I may do that. But the point is, the name of the podcast won't change. It'll just be with Bob Bledsoe, which makes it even longer and even more clunky. But
yeah. Our producer just kept putting hashtag, Mark Muncy, Erica Lance, Carrie Schultz in it. So it's like, okay, I don't think hashtags are a thing anymore, but whatever. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much I know that they don't come up like when you search YouTube, the hashtags don't really matter. Uh,
Yeah.
but if my name is in the title, uh, the videos come up where my name is in the title, and there's plenty of them, but they're not from Green Room Pythons or Aliens Are Behind Everything.
Yeah, I get same thing. People Google me and they're finding stuff from 20 years ago. It's like, wait, okay, yeah, my interview with Coast to Coast AM. I'm like, okay, that was 10 years ago? Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I will say
um,
though the title "Aliens Are Behind Everything and Other Probably True Nonsense" comes from this idea that when it's kind of a religious concept also, right? That
mhm,
uh, people, especially a long time ago, when they didn't understand something scientifically, they just would say that it's God doing it. And now when anything weird happens, or we can't explain how the pyramids were built or whatever, we go, oh well, it was aliens. Aliens are behind it, and that's probably true in some cases, but not all. And
not all the way, but yeah, some are interesting. For Eric Dyneken, sadly, RIP, just passed away this year. The Chariots of the Gods guy. It's he had a theory, and it's some people have latched onto that. So
yeah,
thank you, Ancient Aliens. Uh,
yeah. So this
uh,
idea that aliens are pulling the string, I think, is interesting. But I also like the idea that aliens are literally behind everything because it will provide some fun merch in the future, where
yeah.
like an alien might be
So
peeking around from behind a refrigerator or anything else, which I think
yeah.
is funny. So
Well, we now call conspiracy theories spoilers, on the show. So
right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
because oh my gosh, it keeps coming true.
They
Um,
often end up true for sure.
yeah, yeah, and who knows? Aliens might be binary. Wait till you get your first Men in Black email. We've had a few, so
I
it'll
can't
come
wait to
through.
cover the Men in Black. That's going to be a
Oh
fun
man,
episode.
That will
sure.
open a door for some things.
Yeah, yeah.
I do
Charity, you got them here? Questions?
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I know you go to a number of reptile shows, you're out west. Are you gonna start hitting, like, the Bigfoot and related, events out there?
I'm sure that I will eventually. Uh, right now, I'm not planning on a lot of that yet until I see how the podcast does. You know, um, but I tell you what, if there's a reptile show that I'm going to, or something that I'm doing reptile related, and close to it is some event that works for this, I definitely would do that. I mean, I just went to Area 51. I
Yeah,
went with friends because they go. I was going with people who have been before, and
nice.
and that's the smart
That's
thing to
good.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So we did that, and we'll see. I'm in contact with a guy that I can't say his name, and I can't give a ton of information, but he
that's fine
basically,
Okay.
too. NDAs, we get it. We get
yes,
it.
spent most of his career at Los Alamos, and
Oh,
so he's
nice.
he's told me a lot of things, and I think a trip to Los Alamos would be worth it because he can tell me where to go and what to look for.
Yeah,
Um,
we've discovered park rangers love to talk, but they cannot give you their name and where they're,
They
and
cannot
anything
go on
more than
record.
that,
Yeah.
'cause they will get transferred suddenly to
Interesting.
middle of nowhere or let go for a little bit, "Oh, you gotta take a sabbatical," because
Interesting.
yeah, so just be careful of that. They'll all have you a story, but they'll be like, "It's gotta be off the record."
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Interesting.
great, and, I'll tell you your best source of information though, truck drivers.
Oh,
Truck
yeah?
drivers, they will give you the things they've seen, and because they gotta pay attention, they're on the road constantly, they see
Yeah,
some
yeah.
there stuff. Train conductors too, but there's not many of them out there, but they will give you some good stories too.
I mean, it's gotta be the same as, like, pilots, obviously. Pilots are always seeing the
Yeah.
UAPs.
Oh, yep,
Anybody that's sitting in front of a windshield just looking out for hours on end is gonna see some stuff,
yeah,
you
and
know?
then you want ghost stories, it's your hospice nurses, sadly. They
Oh,
will
no
all
kidding?
yeah, we had one hospice nurse worded it best, she's like, "Any hospice nurse who starts is probably not gonna be a believer. After, 2 weeks, they're all believers."
Wow.
There you
So,
go.
are we saying that hospice facilities are haunted, or do they have stories where a ghost will attach to a caregiver?
Well, they just have the ghost visit who's dying and stuff, so I have
Oh,
tons
oh,
of
I
stories.
see.
Yeah,
It seems
that
like
Interesting.
kind of a thing as you're going to the other side, as those people are preparing to do, like, some veils are thin and some things happen around those people before they pass, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
yeah, so
Oh,
they're
I gotta when I started this podcast, I didn't know if I was gonna do interviews, and
mhm,
now I mean, I'm 2 weeks in, and it's clear to me that I've gotta do interviews. There's so many,
yeah.
uh, interesting people that I can talk to.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and once they start reaching out and once they realize you're not gonna treat them like dirt, you'll get a lot more too, so that's
Yeah.
the key.
It's
Plus,
hard
I have
because,
some
I mean, like, it's not to their benefit to share their story publicly. I mean, they might be fine with sharing it as an aside, but, like, they don't need to be ridiculed for this by
Sure.
strangers, you know?
Right, right. I used to live in an apartment in Hollywood, and my neighbors who I could see across it was like a U-shaped apartment building, and my neighbors across the way that I could see out my bedroom window were friends of mine, and, they have one of the best ghost stories in Hollywood where they had to bring in, like, exorcism
Oh,
people,
yeah.
Catholic priests and stuff, and it became so well known that they now get invites to horror movie premieres because of their story. So I'm going to bring them in and have them tell their story. It's pretty fascinating, and it happened in that. I'm very scared of ghosts. I don't have any good stories myself, but I'm scared of things happening. And I used to look out my bedroom window, and I could see the window of the room where all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to bring them on.
No, yeah, Carrie goes with me to all the haunted locations, and, she's like a ghost lodestone. We'll have strange stuff happen, and because Carrie's there, she doesn't see it, doesn't interfere with her, so she'll actually stay outside sometimes, not that she's scared, but because she
I get
wants us to
I
have
have
the
0 sensitivity to anything, like, 10 things tend not to happen around me, so I'm like, "Okay, you guys go do your thing, I'll be over here," so, you know.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Interesting.
and, one time we took a bunch of YouTubers to, in Brooksville, Florida, amazing place called the May Stringer House, and, we took a bunch of YouTubers there, big time YouTubers, and, they wanted ghost stories. So I'm telling them ghost stories in the house, and we were the only people in the house, was us and like the 4 YouTubers. And Carrie stayed outside just because we knew nothing would happen if she was inside. And sure enough, we got on camera, this locked door flies open. We're the only people in the house. It was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, it again, it's some people see it, some people don't. Again, we don't know why. Some people can't taste cilantro or, cilantro tastes like soap. It's just one of those weird things.
Interesting. The
Oh,
only the only verified stuff I've had things happen throughout my life where I thought it was supernatural, and then later on I go, "Well, it probably was." It was, but my friend Amy, who Carrie knows from the channel probably, Amy Bentley, her office is very haunted, and I've seen stuff happen
ooh,
as we're chatting back and forth on the Marco Polo app. she's filled me in on stuff that's happening. So I went there. She lives in Utah. I went over there and was working for the day from her office one day, and I experienced stuff. I saw pencils moving, a clock flew off the wall, doors open. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's and that's just it. Again, what is it? We don't know. It could be, it's ghosts. No, it could be just who knows? It's just some phenomena we don't understand.
It was for sure aliens.
There you
So
go. Aliens behind it. That's how we do it. There's
yeah,
alien, 100%.
yeah.
Well, thanks again, Bob, so much for coming on, and we'll definitely get you back later on when you want. And if you want us to interview, we'll be happy to come on.
I would
Uh,
love to. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
oh yeah, no problem. And we'll
Thank you
put
so much
all
for coming, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, thanks again. And we'll put all your links in the show notes at the end here so everybody can follow you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Patreon members, for helping us keep this show on the road and keep us afloat. Keep checking eerietravels.com. We're going to be doing a lot of appearances this year. The new book is coming very soon. We're still wrapping up the book tour from the last book. So thanks for having us. We'll see you pretty soon. And when you're out in the Amazon, just remember, it might not be a Titan boa, it might just be an anaconda, or it might just be a black snake and you're exaggerating, and we'll see you on the
On the
other
other
side.
side.